I know we never talk about such things, and I have no grounds.
Before you say another word, Scott, just before you say another word, I just want to say that I am putting down a marker. I am calling the Screamfest segment. I'm going to wait until after it's over, but the screaming at the sky thing is mine.
Oh man, that's what I had. All right,
Both of you?
Bill, you weren't here yet, and Steve told me what he was going to do, so he has a witness.
Let me go to my backup segment.
No, it's all right. Go ahead and do it.
No.
Now,
You've
Bill
got
does
members
have members this week, so...
No. Go ahead and do it.
So we grant him a certain amount of deference, undo his stature.
No, that's right.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm sure I've got a backup topic here. Hang on.
I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
While Steve's looking for that, I must say I'm the worst sort of sports fan in the world, and I've just noticed in the last week that actually football, the game of American football, is now being played in the state of Pennsylvania. And it's on the eastern side as well as the Philadelphia Eagles are incredible. The Penn State football team is incredible. Probably the best Penn State football team I have ever seen. And I don't know, maybe I'm the only one among our audience who's like this. But now, like, all of a sudden I have this unnatural sense of pride of place and ownership of some place I used to live. and I'm taking an interest now, and I know a few names of people and some things that they've done. And I don't know, maybe we should coin a term for the kind of guy who just gets behind his team when they're doing well.
You know, we'll call him a Bill Whittle. That's an interesting I don't know if that was your topic, but that's an interesting idea. I've always thought it was fascinating how people bond to a football team, you know, and so many people have talked about this particular aspect, but they say, we won. Well, you didn't do anything, kind of thing. But they did at the same time. So anyway.
I've literally seen but one Penn State football game this year, and it happened to be the one that they just played against Michigan, and it had
That's the one to see.
Yeah, and it was the largest audience to ever watch a football game in Beaver Stadium. It was nearly 111,000 people, which means that they must have added 7 layers to the stadium since I went to school there. But anyway, there's this weird, inside you, when the guy makes a good play, I feel I've done something. Is this the same feeling that that video game players get when I hear them talking about things as if they've accomplished them?
Yes, I think that might be true. I think this is a very interesting subject, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that as a special extra sports fanatic members only fanatic. Yeah, that's.
Why don't we save it till next week then?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm Scott Ott, and that was Bill Whittle just speaking, and before that, Steve Green was laughing. And we are the team that puts together Right Angle every week, along with several ne'er-do-well assistants at Whittle World headquarters. And right now we're having our backstage pre-production meeting, and Bill is just he's busting out with things. What do you want to? You want to take my topic too? Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I just had to put a marker on that. It just seems so... It seems so perfect. I wanted to wait till it happened, or at least until it's about to happen.
What's about to happen?
The Screamfest.
Oh.
Just tell them real quick, Steve.
Okay, yeah, there's a group in Boston. They've got thousands of people signed up for this thing on Facebook, and they've got apparently an offshoot, I think, in Philadelphia. And they are going to, and I quote, scream helplessly at the sky on the anniversary of Trump's election to President of the United States.
Now, how is this different from a regular daily broadcast of MSNBC?
Well, they scream helplessly into the camera.
Oh, okay. I get it.
I, for the life of me, cannot remember what my primary topic was. For the life of me. Please go around the horn, and I will. I remember members.
So Steve has been planning now for weeks for this topic that he's about to announce.
Yeah, if you saw the lights flashing on the side of my face earlier, that was me flipping to the correct desktop, of varying brightnesses, because I use all these virtual desktops, to get to Instapundit to go, oh no, what have I written about today that I could possibly use? Some people go to Drudge Report. I usually go to Instapundit.
Steve Green, you are the George Jetson of our time. You are the guy who uses technology for technology's sake. You're the guy who's willing to stand in front of the mirror and have a robotical toothbrush jam itself inside your mouth.
It's an interesting time to freeze.
Just lost your audio there for a second, so I'm not sure exactly where you said I jammed the electric toothbrush. I'm just going to assume that you said my mouth. Please? Yes?
I found it.
All right. So we've stalled long enough. Do we go back to Bill?
Why not?
Okay, let's go back
the whole
to Bill.
thing's turning into a goat rodeo
back
anyway.
to Bill.
It is.
Scott, you said we put this show together. I think maybe that's too strong a term.
Scott, just make sure everybody's in the same chair when we turn recording devices on.
That's right.
It's a Steve Green article that I read in Instapundit. Steve Green linked article in Instapundit. And it's about a guy who's using ladders and sticky letters to eliminate the metric system. I would imagine that's got to be on Interstate 8. I think it's 8. There's a stretch from Tucson south to the border. And I think it's the only one left in the country that actually uses the metric system. It tells you the distance in kilometers, doesn't read the speed in kilometers per hour.
In
but
this
I think
country? Are you saying in
yes,
the United States of America?
In this country.
Huh.
And I kind of want to use that to talk about two things. First of all, well, they're related. People say, there's only two countries in the world that don't use the metric system. It's Tanzania and the United States, so 50% of the countries that don't use the metric system have been to the moon.
I knew you were going to go there. Bless you, Bill. If you hadn't, I would have.
So I just want to do this. So there's a kind of rebel thing about getting up on a ladder and saying, unacceptable. But I also would like to talk just briefly about the metric system because in many ways it's not as good as the imperial system. For instance, the temperature gradients are much higher. I mean, you've got between 0 and 45 degrees. But mostly what I'm interested in is how it robs the English language and makes everything spoken in English with the metric system sound like a German medical experiment. I can't put my fingers on it, but that's what it feels like. Plus, the number 10 is an oddly unstable number and a weird number anyway. So I want to talk about the metric system.
Plus, it's confusing for binaryists.
Yeah, I'm going to love this one.
Okay.
That's one of the evidences of American greatness, frankly, that we were able to throw back that invasion in the 1970s. I mean, you guys were, well, Steve wasn't, but Bill and I were in school around that time. And remember what a push that they had? I mean, we were going to do this. We were going to join the global community and all do the metric system. It got so strong that even Saturday Night Live jumped in and Dan Aykroyd introduced, he did like a public service announcement introducing the decibet, the 10-letter alphabet.
That's where LMNOP comes from.
That's right.
That's exactly right. And the French, of course, during the French Revolution had a decimal year, and they had a decimal day.
It was insane.
Yeah, Thermidor.
Wow. Well, what I love about what do they call it? They call it imperial measure. Is that what it's really called?
That's one of the standard, but imperial measures is one of them.
Well, what I enjoy about it is that my foot is actually a foot long. So it works for me. I can measure things with my feet.
My point is, it doesn't matter whether I know where the term foot came from, and I'm fine with that. It's not like the word foot varies in length today. We know how long a foot is. It doesn't change. And by the way, and this is the thing I never understood until very recently, there's nothing remarkable about the meter. Nothing. If it were 1/600th of the Earth's circumference or something like that,
I think it's based on a measurement of the equator to the pole.
Well, it doesn't.
Yeah.
At least not to that degree of accuracy. So in any event, the metric system.
Well, as the Lord said in the 12 Commandments, no, wait. Go ahead.
Commandments 1 through 9, and then T.
That's right.
And then E, and then Commandment 10. All right, so the other thing here is I'm just going to Instapundit today. Glenn has linked a story about they're teaching elementary school kids about how funny it would be if Trump were killed.
Oh.
Who is they? Who is they that are teaching this?
Teaching hatred at Gloucester, Massachusetts, West Pariah.
West Pariah High School?
That's what I said. It's West Parish, but it's the West Pariah came right out of my head.
That's a Freudian typo or something.
Sure enough. But yeah, they're giving it to kids, and the temper tantrum continues.
This is, and they're presenting this as something amusing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, apparently.
That just doesn't. Something's wrong there.
Oh, something's wrong there. That's why we're talking about it.
Something's rotten in the state of Maryland.
You know, it's not
So
that I
that'll
have a
be
high view of human nature or anything, but when you hear stuff like that, you just go, well, again, that sounds like something ripped from the headlines of libertieslightsaber.com or org or whatever. Like just, one of these sort of foaming at the mouth websites. But I'll be interested to see how this show goes. I mean, we'll have to document this.
Oh, here I am looking at the article now, and for Halloween they've got a bunch of tombstones, and they say, your name here, Ben dead, ha ha ha, and Donald Trump with a bat on it.
Yeah, you remember him singing the Obama song, teaching school kids to sing the Obama song?
Yeah, remember when a guy got fired for having an Obama mask at a rodeo?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, rodeo clown. And, rodeo clowns, if we're going to start judging them, we're going to have to start judging really high-ranking members of society like disc jockeys or internet video
radio clowns.
Talking heads. Yeah.
That's right. Okay, well, Bill, that sounds like a barrel of monkeys. Can I say that? Is that still okay?
Sure.
So, Stephen Green, now that you have been stripped of everything that's good and wholesome, did you actually get a topic in yet?
So, if Bill's doing the... so, Bill, are you doing the metric thing and the other thing? And then...
So he's not... Yeah, he's not only taking the Screaming at the Sky, which was your topic, he's actually taking one of your articles away from you.
Oh, no.
No. I'm taking the Screaming at the Sky, but I called it for at least next week and maybe the week after.
Okay. So you want to do it not this week, but when it happens, or just after it happens. Okay.
Yes.
All right. No. That's great because I do have another topic. Math is racist.
We knew that already.
Yes, we did. There is a math professor. Well, no, actually, she isn't a math professor. She has a PhD in teaching math. But if you go through her credentials, she has never taken any math. One of the commenters on the item noted that the only hard science she had was a bio class. Anyway, I'll get some great quotes out of this thing, but I can't remember her first name. Something Gutierrez, PhD.
So this is math is racist. Is that what you're saying?
Math is racist. The way we teach it is racist. It has all these European names, like the Pythagorean theorem. That's just going to throw people off, right? Because of the name.
Well, what if you do it? What if you perform your math with a sort of algorithm? Does that change it at all?
That's actually interesting. That's I mean, the whole article is interesting, but I was just jokingly going to say, well, so what are they going to call it? The Rosa Parks theorem? And then I realized, well, they're pulling down statues and rewriting history, so why not name it the Rosa Parks?
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sure. But it doesn't. That's the thing. It doesn't matter what you call it. The math remains the same. Math is the most colorblind subject you could possibly imagine, because you could write white letters on a blackboard or black pen on a white sheet of paper, change all the names, and it's still fundamentally unchanged. The numbers don't lie. But I'm going to get the serious stuff out right now so we can have more fun with this on the air when we tape the actual segment.
Black or white, when it comes to math, I never knew what the numbers were anyway. So it really just didn't make any difference to me.
That's how we ended up doing this instead of something actually productive.
I've often told people, like when they ask me some sort of, math question or something, I said, look, I went to school for journalism. At Penn State, there were there was a line coming in and they would go, can you do math? If you said yes, then you would go into the engineering line. If you said no, you would go into the journalism line.
Yep.
Okay. So speaking of some math, there is a guy who claims that last year he was the one who was in charge of allocating the money for this thing I'm going to tell you about, and that he is very alarmed that the Trump administration has radically cut back the spending on Obamacare outreach. Now, I don't know if you saw this, but this guy whose first name is Joshua, last name escapes me, I'll get it in time for the show, but he wrote on the blogging platform Medium.com that the Trump administration plans to cut drastically cut the Obamacare outreach budget. Now, this is the money they spend on emails, phone calls, television ads, and search, Google search, essentially ads. So they're cutting the budget to $10 million. Okay, $10 million to encourage people to sign up for the federal exchanges under Obamacare. Okay, they're slashing the budget bill to $10 million. Care to guess what the budget used to be last year?
11.
$100 million.
Whoa! This is like advertising to pay your taxes. You know what? It's the law. Ignorance is no excuse.
$100 million to encourage people, and he says the guy has done the math, and he said that will have a tangible impact in that 1.1 million people will not sign up for the Obamacare exchanges for this reason and no other.
Well, you know what that reminds me of?
If we took money from them, does that mean we get people to remove themselves from the program? And how much money would it take?
Yes, how much would we have to take away?
You know the old joke about the dog food ad, right?
No.
We couldn't get the dogs to eat the food.
Yeah, well, there you
go.
That's right. Anyway, so I have a couple of questions for each of you on that topic, and I just thought, I was just flabbergasted at the amount of money they was talking about. It was like $100 million. What other consumer product in this country has $100 million? I mean, I'm sure there are some, beer or something. But
well, let me ask you: have you ever seen one of these ads? I know I haven't.
And furthermore, if Budweiser puts down $100 million a year, it's Budweiser's money.
Yeah.
They're taking my money to sell me on something I think is repugnant.
And the important thing that Bill left out: beer works.
Beer does work.
Darn right it does.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we need to get about recording these Right Angle episodes for this week, and we appreciate the support of our members that make it possible. And for you, we are especially glad for those of you who join us for these backstage meetings. Someday, of course, when the internet doesn't exist anymore, this will all be done face-to-face and in person. But for now, we'll struggle along using technology to bridge the gaps that our personal presence cannot, perform. In the meantime, for Bill Whittle, Stephen Green, and the Right Angle team here at BillWhittle.com, thanks for your membership. We'll see you this week on Right Angle.